Hi, just going to preface this first jog review that out of nowhere sent me a message on Instagram asking if I'd like to try a pair, and of course I said yes, because who wouldn't say yes to a free pair of shoes. But obviously there's no obligation for me to review, share anything, I was told. So, but given that they are such an important brand in fell and mountain running, I want to champion that. Like I like to champion Walsh. You know, keep those brands going. They are making shoes for fell runners and mountain runners, not adapting trail shoes. Now these are trail shoes, but they are based on the fell shoe. Now the stack is, I won't go into technical stuff right now, but I prefer a low profile shoe, just how I prefer that. I like to feel the ground. I recently did the Howarth Hobble, and I did a pair of IROC 3s, which has fairly minimal protection, but I do replace the insoles with the Innovate insole, the Rebound. What the fuck is it called? Anyway, it's one of the best things Innovate have ever done. Their insoles are amazing. Anyway, so I often put those insoles in all my shoes, including VJs, including Walsh's. But these trail shoes, straight out of the box, stack is slightly higher than I'm used to. So as soon as I hit the road, felt nice, spongy, responsive. You know, I felt like actually I could still feel the ground. It holds the ankle and the heel really well. Put the runner's loop not in there, but it sort of sits a little bit higher than other shoes, which I quite like, because like I say, if I'm, you know, that I always worry about stability and, you know, breaking an ankle. But straight out into farmland, dirt track, you know, a lot of fairly rough ground, still very boggy ground in places, and the shoe was great. Felt really light. Felt like a Walsh upper. Felt really like almost like a slipper. I might take that back when I do a bit more running in it, but it just felt very comfortable. Grip, Vibram grip, I've never been massively convinced by. I don't think anyone can beat the VJ, the rubber that they use. I think it's just, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. But I might have to eat my words, because on some of the stone slabs and some of the rocks, it gripped really well after being in the mud. So yeah, we'll see. But so far, I'd say a couple of miles, lumpy miles, shoe felt great. Didn't feel like I was lacking any grip. Obviously the fell shoe has much bigger lugs than this, but I just think that these would be an excellent, I know people talk about the you know, trail to road, but I personally, this is just basically, these are the shoes that I would choose if it was a little bit drier than it has been. I think they're really responsive. They feel light. Cushioning I'm not convinced about just yet, because that's personal choice. Only issue I have so far, and it might be to do with, you know, lacing and stuff like that, is on some of the downhills I felt my foot sliding, and having some couple of toenails that are hanging on for dear life after doing an ultra. It was just, I was aware that my foot was slipping and hitting the toe. These are a 12. I am a 12 in most shoes, with the exception of Walsh's, where I can be anything from 12.5, 13, depending on which model it is, and VJs, which in the older models I'd have to be a 13, but now the last, I think, is the VJ Max 2. I was an 11.5, and that fit like a 12. So sizing is just all over the place at the moment, but these fit really nice, snug, not too tight. But like I say, my only gripe so far, and again that might be to do with the lacing, is my foot just slipping and banging on the toe box. But so far I think this is, you know,
think it's a great shoe, a great addition. Like I say, I'm all for supporting. Might not be my favourite shoe. You know, Walsh will always be, you know, I'm fully committed to that shoe because of lots of reasons. Mostly heritage, the fact it's made in Britain, the fact that, you know, the greats wore them, etc. Anyway, you've heard me say this before, but I do think that these are a great addition, and I say, and also very different for me, because I've always resisted the sort of the Hoka trail stuff. Always felt like wearing sponges on my feet. Not for me at all. But these are a nice compromise. You know, if this was a, you know, let's say if I was doing a long distance, if I knew it was going to be like, these would be perfect for something like the Howarth Hobble, which is an ultra, but there's a lot of road in there. But yeah, anyway, thank you very much, Om. These are so far a lovely addition to the scene, and I hope to see what else you do with them. Not tried the fell shoe, but I think it's great. I think I really, like I say, really want to champion shoes manufacturers, brands that are aiming for runners like, hopefully, the people who are watching this now. Anyway, this is my first attempt at a review, so I'm sorry if I did waffle. I'm just going to head up here, which is quite fun, and I'm sure you would all be king of the mountain. But yeah, thanks very much for listening. Shout out to John Miles, who does this quite a lot, and it's harder than it looks. I am fairly useless at running with a phone, but I'm not going to be doing this very often. You'll be pleased to hear. Cheers.